Whoa. Hello there, Somateng is here back with another episode of this podcast. It's episode 8. We didn't make an episode last week. Let us try and explain why. So, as you might know, last week I was graduating, sort of, right? And I have a problem with my laptop. I don't have space, right? So when it's graduation time, I have to take pictures of people, come back and edit them, and I can't risk making a video because these are 14 gigs and then put it here and then I end up having no space at all. So I decided, okay, no, let's skip this week and try to make some money, right? Obviously my class was graduating, but I didn't go there to collect the thing. I was busy shooting people, and it was an accounting degree, and we were taught that it's better to make money than to spend money, right? So I did just that. I was busy making money, right? So this week I'm not complaining about my microphone. I'm using my phone from the start, and I'm not complaining about the light. So I realized that having more stuff, having a lot of things, doesn't necessarily mean that you should use all of your things, right? So I have three lights, right? And I've been using all three of them for the past videos and whatever. I've seen now that these two just do the job fine, right? So yeah, but I think I'm gonna buy something to. Was part of the reason the third one is not connected. It's because I don't have enough. Is it called ports? There is not enough space or space in the sockets to plug in all three of them, right? Unless this one is not here. But this one is working well today, so yeah, we'll just work with that. Let's move on. Okay. So, the things to talk about, it's been a while, man. Okay, we'll try not make this long as well. And we'll try to make sure that we don't make this long. Okay, so, as I was saying, I was taking graduation pictures of people and whatever. Damn. It's an experience taking pictures in that occasion, right? Because everything is moving fast, man. It's better if you're gonna have the graduate come to you after the graduation, like afterwards, they're still having their clothes on, or costume. Is it called costume? Clothes, and then that big thing that they wear there. If they're gonna come to you afterwards and then you have a shoot, it's way more enjoyable for everyone, and there is no rush, right? But when you have to shoot people in the middle of the thing happening there, man, it's so much things happening at the same time, right? You just what's this? So my camera shoots 5 pictures at a time, like 5 pictures per second, right? So most of the time when I shoot, I just go. So when people are busy posing there, but I'll make a video about this on my main channel. When people are busy, they're posing, and then your camera is stopped, you have to stop a minute so that it will load, and then you shoot again. Man, it's so much. And then families like shoot 5 people at the same time. Someone is blinking, someone is looking that way, someone is moving. Damn. It's a lot of variables, but yeah, and the things we do for money, man, I quite enjoyed some of the, because mostly I was shooting in my class, right? So it's people I know, people I know. We're mostly in the same bursary, right? So if you're in the same bursary, you kind of know everyone there, because that bursary we had extra classes, and yeah, you knew sort of everyone. Yeah. I'm not sure what to start with. Damn, I need water. So I've been editing all week, and nothing else has been happening. People want their pictures as fast as possible, so I can't give the pictures my normal treatment with regards to editing. Had to just do the touch-ups, fix what's not looking good, and then release them. Right, that was the thing. Okay, a lot of things have been happening, right? So for last week, when did this come out? Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday of some sort, right? So this picture of the black hole comes out, right? And man, the internet went crazy, right? Some people are saying, okay, this picture of the black hole doesn't have quality, doesn't have details, right? There is no details in this picture, right? So we don't really, like, it doesn't look like what we promised, right? So whenever black hole images or black holes were talked about online, you've seen the images, the renders always looked top notch, but the real thing was disappointing to some people. But I think I'm talking too loud and I'm talking too fast. Let's relax, okay? What? I think people missed the point there with regards to that black hole. Also, most people only looked at the zoomed in image of that orange thing that you're not sure. It looks like, what do you call it? What do you call those round cakes? No, not round cakes. What the fuck? But those things, it's food moss. It rings sort of. I forgot what to call those things. Mostly because I don't eat those things. Right, so when you eat those, no, we're not talking about eating, you're talking about black holes. So people only looked at that zoomed in image instead of looking at the whole thing, because that black hole is very massive, man, and there is a lot of matter busy rounding or going on around the thing. It's actually, I think, by the look of things, right, that black hole is just a point, and the matter surrounding it is actually surrounds more space than the actual hole or point, right, sort of. But thing is, okay, that's a horrible horrible explanation, because now also, okay, some people are not watching, obviously, sort of them. Some people are not watching. It's a podcast, so it's supposed to be clear as possible. So the picture comes in as this round thing, and then there's the zoomed in part, but zoomed out there is a lot of material that surrounds a black hole, right? Black holes eats things like stars, and then the matter around the thing is not always, but moves at a very high speed and is very hot, right? So what was interesting about this thing, given that, other than the fact that people didn't understand why this is a huge deal, is the fact that, for me, obviously, the fact that Einstein, the guy lived, I think 50-60 years ago. How the hell did that guy get to? How the hell did he? What's this? How the hell did that guy make those predictions? How is it possible that the guy's theories are correct, are being proven correct right now, because the theory of relativity is being supported by the images, right? The fact that this image was found, man, that's hard to think about. And then the other thing is the size of this thing, right? This thing is what's this? It's 6.5 billion times more massive than our sun, right? 6.5 billion times more massive than our sun, right? Okay, I think putting it in perspective, right? Even looking at our sun, I think they said it's 1 million times bigger than our planet, right? Our sun is 1 million times bigger than our planet. That being said like that, loosely like that, it's not something you can comprehend, because even the size of the earth right now, it's hard to just imagine how big the earth is, right? For my mind, it's not made to sort of take those things as they are, right? It's not made to just simply understand that fact that the sun is 1 million times bigger than our planet, and that thing is 1 million times more, no, 6.5 billion times more massive than the sun. So it means that its mass is 6.5 billion times the mass of the sun, right? So everything just sinks in there. And also, right, this black hole thing, it's been popping up. Like, I've been looking at a lot of videos trying to understand trying to understand space and time. It's called space and time because I've been hearing a lot of people, especially physicists, talking about space time. I don't understand the shit, okay? Oh, that stuff, damn, you're not supposed to curse. Who said that? No, nobody. Okay, so I've been looking at a lot of videos, people explaining, and my thing here, my laptop, why is it going so loud now? All of a sudden, man, this thing, damn, it's just going. What am I searching here? Okay, I'm not searching for anything. Let's take this and put it back there, because now it's causing a lot of noise and I don't want to deal with the load when I'm editing this game. Okay, so what was I saying now? A lot of scientists, like, I've been watching the videos, a lot of physicists talking about this space and time thing, right? So it's been like one of those things, like, right, especially in science, there is those things that you hear people talking about a lot. You don't really get what they mean, but you just go along because you think that what they're saying makes sense, and that particular one thing is not really hindering your understanding of that maybe particular concept, right? So space and time, right? There's what am I doing now? Am I explaining space-time? I'm not sure if I'm qualified to do that, but how I look at it, like space, how I understand space-time now, not space-time, just space, is like I think of it as a fabric, right? Some sort of a sheet, right? Some sheet that all the matter in the planet, in the whole universe, all the matter rests on, right? So if you think of it as two people holding a sheet, like a bed sheet or whatever, holding it that side and that side, and then you put the planets in, right? So the denser the thing, the heavier the thing, it means it will make more, it will stretch the sheet more, right? So if you're putting stones or whatever you want to put it, or balls or whatever on top of a sheet, it will stretch the thing, right? It will go down, right? That's how I think of this space thing, right? I think of it as some sort of a sheet, because there has been events where we hear waves, right? So if you're handling a sheet and then something keeps on bumping, although it won't be that much on the other side, but there will be an effect. The person on the other side will hear, will feel the waves, that there's been something busy bumping on this, going up and down on this sheet, right? That's how I think there was an event in 2016 where they detected waves, because there was some significant event where I think there were two bodies of mass that collided, sort of 2016, and then they are so far away, but their waves were able to be detected here on Earth, right? The only way that can be detected is if the Earth is in the same sheet as that thing, and then as that thing keeps on pumping and then making the bam sound, or not sound, and what was this movement, right? And then the shit goes up to the Earth. The fact that we're far away, we obviously didn't get the massive waves. We got them when they were was this diluted, sort of, right? That's how I like come to understand this thing of space, right? Then there is time, right? There is this theory, I think it's Einstein, that's it's not a theory, it's the truth, obviously, that time moves different for different people. Depending on where you are, your time might move different. So what was interesting was the fact that next to a black hole, time moves slower than here. Yeah, I think they said slower. So if you send a person there, and maybe twins, that's mostly how they explain this thing. So if they're twins, one twin remains here and the other goes there, the twin that remained here will sort of grow faster than the one going, the one that's there, because time will be moving slower for that one compared to the time for this what's this twin here on Earth, right? That's a different concept to understand, man. It's a very different concept to understand, that one, because you think of time as this constantly moving thing, and it doesn't make sense why it shouldn't be the same for everyone. But yeah, it's not the same for everyone. And then this other thing as well, like I'm doing physics as well in school, so yeah, maybe you don't know that. So I'm doing physics, I love this stuff, that's why I'm talking about this. So another concept that is hard to understand is that it's distance, right? It's easier to understand 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, I would say maybe 100 kilometers, something like 1,005 from here to Durban, I think. Something like that's it's not far removed from our daily lives to understand the concept of kilometers, right? Thousands kilometers, then 1,000,000 kilometers. That one is a bit hard to understand. 1,000,000 kilometers, what is that? How far is that? But the thing is, you can't move 1,000,000 kilometers. I'm not sure if you can't, but I haven't moved 1,000,000 kilometers, and I think it's not a very easy exercise to do if you want to move apart, like the displacement. It's called displacement. Move a distance of 1,000,000 kilometers, right? It's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that the distance between the 2 points is 1,000,000 kilometers, right? And then we move away from the 1,000,000 kilometers. We say no, the sun is 150 million kilometers, right? That's some concept, but okay, makes sense, obviously. We'll just say, you see, with these things, you don't want to think a lot, like you don't want to think them a lot. You just accept, although your mind has that weird thing happening where it's like 150 million kilometers. I'm having a hard time to imagine 100,000 or just a million kilometers. But all right, I'll take 150 million kilometers, right? And then things go so far. The universe is so massive to the fact that your millions, right? Don't become what's this, millions, billions, and whatever. They're not enough, right? We say, okay, let's use light years, right? Because they're a little bit bigger, and light travels very fast. So what's this, in terms of light years, the sun is 8 minutes, I think I'm saying this right, should be saying this right. The sun is 8.33 minutes away from the star, from us, right? 8.33 minutes in terms of when you take this and look at it as sort of time, looking at distance. Oh no, changing this thing, the units, right? Moving from using kilometers to using what is this? From using kilometers to using light years, right? So this thing is 8.33 minutes, right? It's not even a month, it's not even a year, or not even a week, not even a day, right? Light takes 8 minutes to move from the sun to here, right? Okay, not a weird thing. And then you get to the point where light takes a year. Light takes a year to get here. That's weird. No, to get to a certain, to get here, right? Okay, that's weird, man. But okay, we'll take it, right? Takes a year to get here. Must be that far. Okay. What does that mean? It means that whatever you're seeing, the light you're seeing today is not how that star is. Mostly it's stars that are light years away for now. So you're saying, okay, that star, you're not looking at how the star is today, but you're looking at how it was a year ago. Hard concept to wrap your hand around, okay? We'll accept, right? We'll accept your concept. We'll accept, but my mind is not really. It's not something I use every day, so I think like as soon as you get into this terminology, start using it more often, you sort of ignore the gravity of this thing, right? Because one light year away is very far, man, right? If you think about the sun is 8 minutes, right? So how many minutes are in okay, let's just use the internet, man. Also, we crack our heads. How many minutes are in your 60? So it's somewhere around 8. So that's 150 million by 8. Then you have 150 million, making an hour, right? Then 150 million by 8. Then you make 24 hours. 150 million by 8 by 24. Then you make 365. Man, okay, let's see. Let's say light years to kilometers, right? Convert those. 1 light year to kilometers. Okay, this is weird, man. This is weird. So it's 9.461 to exponent 10 by 12. Oh, fuck, man. No, where's the calculator here? But it's something so massive. I'm not sure if I'll get to that calculator. Okay, my laptop is spinning around for no reason. Where is my calculator? I'm not sure if it will show us what we want to get. So it's 150. Damn, no. Where is the clear? Okay, 150 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, right? By 8, right? That's 1.2 billion, right? That's 1.2 billion kilometers. That's around hour, right? When light takes an hour, that's the distance, right? Then this by 28.8 billion. That's obviously we making that there should be an adjustment because 8 doesn't go 8 times, so 60 goes 7.5 times, but we'll just go on with that, right? Then by what's this? That's by 24, so it's 28.8 billion kilometers if light takes a day, right? Then that by 366, then it's 10.5, okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, so it's 10.5 trillion kilometers. I think that's a light here. 10.5 trillion light, like 10.5 trillion, around 10.5 trillion, right? Because there should be an adjustment because 8 doesn't go 8 times, so but I just did the rounding off thing, but it's somewhere there, right? Okay, we can't comprehend a million, right? I can't, and not to make you stupid as well as myself, but I can't like wrap my head around a million. Then now it's trillions, right? We're talking trillions of kilometers. We're gonna allow that, right? We're going to allow that to happen, and we'll just move on and ignore the gravity of that situation, how massive or far away that thing is, and then we'll just say, okay, this black hole was 50 million light years away. Shit. Damn, that's the interesting thing, because that thing was 50 million, right? Okay, 50 million kilometers away. That's a problem. I don't have a clue. Like my imagination doesn't go to that distance, sort of, right? I can't just think about that, like have it in my mind when I'm talking about it. 50 million kilometers, right? But we're not talking kilometers here, we're talking light years. So say 50 million light years away, right? That thing is very, very, very far, right? As far as one can be. Not sure if we'll ever be able to build something that can reach that thing, obviously, unless it moves that way. Our way swallows a lot of things, moves that fast. Swallow galaxies, maybe. One day we'll be able to get to that thing. It's very, very far away, and it's very massive, and it's like a huge achievement, like to be involved in that project. These are the things that make you want to go into science or physics and research more, because this part of the sciences is still something unknown, right? There are theories around how the earth began, but those haven't been proven to be true as well. We're still looking at that, right? That's a very exciting field to be involved with. And also there's quantum mechanics, right? That's another complicated theory, right? So scientists are working into matching the two theories. I think it's quantum mechanics and relativity, having them working together, right? It's a very, very exciting field, right? The field of research as a whole is very exciting, although it takes so long, as I've said previously. It takes so long, man, for the research, especially in the biology, medicine, and whatever. You hear about the thing years back, and then it doesn't get used for years and years and years till you get old. But yeah, research is very nice thing to be involved in. Okay, I have to restart my recording. Okay, I'm back. I think I've talked a lot about this black hole thing. It's very exciting, man. Very, very exciting. Oh, talking about the universe, right? there is one thing also that hasn't been studied right here on Earth and our particular atmosphere and the weather. All right. Growing up in rural areas as a Zulu guy, I've known, not that I've known, okay, it's a bit extreme to say I've known, but it's been common knowledge where I grew up, right? If you're a Zulu guy, if you live in KZN, it's common knowledge that some people are able to send lightning. It's not something very... here's the thing, right? Hard to believe that it as that sounds. Hard to believe as it sounds. It's something I believe is true. Right? I'm not sure. Maybe it's the way the stories have been told to me. Maybe they were told when I was more of a child, and it was, I grew up with it, sort of, because like, I'm not sure how they flow around these stories, because it's a lot of people, man, who've been saying this thing, and it's easy for, right, this thing of humility as an intellectual, right, someone who studies science and whatever. It's very important to have humility as a person in general, obviously, and as mostly as a scientist, a person who thinks scientifically. Is that a good way to say these things? Absolutely not sure. But what happens is, right, people in the sciences, mostly your physicists or physics or whatever, like people who are in the field, people who know most of the things, obviously, mostly in research and whatever. Man, I'm rambling. So those people, most of the time, what happens is they sometimes get cocky, right, and say that what they know is absolute, right? What we know is the truth. Agree with it or not, whatever you want to say, no, can't be true. It's not true, right? They like being dismissive, right? And that's one characteristic you should not have as a person who's studying these things. You should always have an exploratory way of looking at things. When you're told something, you're not gonna say, obviously that is against the laws of science. Obviously that's false. It should be like, okay, from what I know, that is false, but let's try and prove you wrong or me wrong, right? This thing of outright saying, okay, no, you're wrong, right? I think it's the reason science is hated mostly by people who are not into science, because science says, no, your religion, man, your religion and whatever you've been told, it's absolutely wrong, right? So as a person who's grown up being told stories about God, Jesus, and whatever, being told that the whole thing is wrong is like saying you've been living a lie, right, your whole life, right? Which is not something you want to say to a person, and it's not something that any person take lightly, right? And most people just do, okay, just say, okay, whatever, man, I'm just done with science, right? I hate science. I hate everything that's pertaining to science, and the people doing science, I'm not gonna listen to you guys anymore. I think that's a shame, having that sort of thing, because like you shouldn't assume that your knowledge is absolute, right? It's was Jordan Peterson calls it being in love with your own creations, right? It's a totalitarian view of things, right? You should have humility as a person to say, okay, this religion thing is false, right? It's lies. But how was it possible for it to last hundreds of years, being passed down from generation to generation? How is it possible that you remember these stories, right? If this thing is not true, if it doesn't have any effect in our lives, how is it that you remember all those things? How is it that everyone knows about it? How is it that, you see, asking all those questions, because you can't just say there've been generations of people living, thousands and billions of people who've lived and lived and died, or whatever, and maybe, just maybe, some of those people were smarter than me, and you'll find that that's true, obviously, and maybe there's something they knew that I don't know right now. That's how you should approach a lot of things. Where is this going? Oh, this is going in this thing of lightning strikes being sent. Alright? So after all that rambling, the humility must be there. So these stories we've been told in rural areas as a Zulu guy, that people can send lightning strikes. Damn, this thing making noise. People can send lightning strikes, and there are some people who are known to be able to do that, right? With these things, obviously, you can say coincidence, right? Coincidence can play a role, but the thing is, it's too many coincidences with the stories we've been told. Obviously, there may be lies, there is that, but obviously also they are not far too removed from our environment to be just dismissed, right? And also another thing with these people who have that power of sending lightning and whatever, there's been stories like your traditional healers. Most of the time there was this one traditional healer, I think it died back in 2004. I was a kid, but it came out in the news. His name was KKK. It came out in the news. He's from the same rural area that I'm from, right? He died around that time. That guy, there's a lot of stories regarding what that guy was able to do. I think also during, I'm not sure if it's his death day or during his funeral, where there was a lot of rain. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of stories on the powers that guy possessed, right? So I've been talking to a lot of people right back. Everyone, right? It's uncommon to find a Zulu person who doesn't believe that lightning can be sent, right? You can say, tonight I want lightning to hit this guy's house, and it happens. It's one science that hasn't been documented, obviously, because of black magic sort of. But yeah, I'm very interested in that. What did I want to say about it? Yeah, it's something I just wanted to talk about, because it's very fascinating, man. These stories, we've grown up listening to these stories, and don't know, they sound true, but obviously I have no way of proving them. I don't know any one particular person who says they're able to send lightning. Yeah, obviously I want to send lightning as well, be able to just boom. Okay. Oh, also, I'm doing first year right now, obviously, it's a lot of things I don't know. I'm doing my first year, right? I'm 21, I should be working this year, right? But I'm still at school, right? Which is a bad thing, sort of, right? Because I should be working. Time is not on my side. I'm broke, very, very broke. And also, I love learning a lot, man, right? And I feel like I'm always I'm not sure how it works, right? There's these guys like your Jordan Peterson. That guy is around 60 years old now, I think. And that guy knows a lot of things, right? He's an expert in his field, and he's had a lot of years to get experience in what he does and whatever, experience a lot of fields. I'm not sure how it is that I can compare myself to a guy like that. First of all, our environment is not the same. Second, and most importantly, I'm 21. He's what? He's around 60. Right? There's this thing inside me, and this what could you call it? Competitive, sort of. I don't know this stuff. I should know this stuff. I don't know this stuff. I should know this stuff. Not sure. Where do I think I should have just? How do I think this stuff should be? Was this pre-installed in my brain? I think I should be smarter than this. I should know this topic. I should know this topic and the topic and the topic and the topic. It's a lot, man. And then doing first year as well. And it's an interesting stuff, but it's moving slow. Also, I'm trying to make my business. What's this? I'm trying to make money with this photography thing, right? Yeah. It's a lot of things to talk about this week, man, but I'm just gonna also skip, and maybe we'll see them next week. I'll skip some of the stuff because Game of Thrones is coming out. Today is Sunday, the 14th of what? The 14th of April, right? So Game of Thrones is supposed to come out today. The first episode, I've watched the Game of Thrones, the story so far, episode that they released. Interesting stuff. We're waiting for the final one. I'm not sure if I'll update this podcast to talk about specifically Game of Thrones or just release a separate episode just related to the Game of Thrones episode 1 thing, because that's gonna be an interesting thing as well. I'm very, very hyped to see Game of Thrones again. I'm sure it won't be a happy ending, but I think it should be something satisfactory. Is it satisfactory that satisfies a lot of the audience, or something. I still think Littlefinger is coming back. I'm really I'm rooting for that guy to come back, because it will make sense for him to come back. The way he was killed doesn't make sense. What else want to talk about? On the I'm not sure. On the last podcast, I talked about this thing of you can but won't, right? The reason people don't do things is not that they can, it's because they are afraid of doing them, and that's not a good way of doing things. You should be able to do them but not do them. That's how you are moral, right? Don't confuse your moral don't confuse your being moral or virtuous for your cowardice, right? That's how they talk about this thing. I want to talk about this guy, Pumlan. I'm not sure if I talked about this thing and I didn't talk about this thing. There was this guy Pumlan in our childhood, right? So around the age of 6, 7, I was very, very consumed with the idea of playing marbles, right? If you don't know what marbles are, those little things that you play in the schoolyard, and then whenever you can hit someone's marble, you take that marble, and also there is some way where you stretch your fingers between two marbles. Whenever your fingers fit in between the two marbles, you are also obviously going to take their marbles. There are a lot of different rules for the game and whatever. So there was this guy Pumlan, right? His story is always sitting with me in my head, right? What happened is, or how he played marbles, right? So back at home, obviously, back in our where we stayed, it was not home, where we were rented at our room. It was not a room, obviously. Back at home, I'll just say home in Durban, when I was doing first year and second year primary school. So there was this guy Pumlan. He was very old. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him in years. I'm not sure if he's still alive. But yeah, his name was Pumlan. Right. So this guy came into our little marble things. So whenever we were playing marbles and whatever, he would come in, borrow one marble, borrow one or two, or even three, if it's a bad day, right? Borrow those marbles, play against us, right? He will borrow a marble from you and then play against you, right? And all the people that are playing, right? Because maybe it will be 4 or 5 people playing at the same game, right? The guy will gain 30 upwards, 20, 30 upwards in the number of marbles. Right? They will fit his head, right? He wouldn't be able to even hold them, right? So every time he would win, right? Every other time when there was this game, the guy will just afterwards throw those marbles into the forest. Okay, he'll just give back to whoever borrowed him the marbles and then throw them away. And then the next day, obviously, when he comes around, borrows the marbles and then wins and then throws them away. You might say, I think it's also justified because it is marbles, but also there is this can't help but notice this sort of arrogance. They're saying, okay, man, I know this stuff, I'm better than all of you. I don't need these marbles, so just throw them away. I'll come back, play you again, and then beat you up again. Right? It was very, very inspiring, being that good at something that you don't care about losing it now, because you're not afraid that you can do it again, right? I think that's the thing, that's the level I want to get at, being not being too held up to whatever was my greatest achievement and say, man, that I can just repeat doing that. I can just repeat, I can do it better than the last time, right? I'm not sure if you get what I mean, but I want to be able to do that, say, okay, no, I got that, no, I can't repeat this thing. You stole my idea. Man, I have a lot of those. I'll just go and get another idea. You see, that type of thing. I'm not sure why I'm telling you this story, but I've always been inspired by the story of that guy, how he was able to how good he was when it came to make marbles, right? Another thing I want to talk about. Okay, this is different. Okay, some sort of a bit. Okay, I didn't write this down, which is gonna come off weird. There is this ad, right? I think it's Discovery Insurance. It's an ad about your car knowing when you're not driving it. I'm not sure how. They said DNA. I'm not sure, man, about that. But your car not knowing when you're driving it, right? It's a good ad saying, oh, I'm advertising them now. But I don't think I have listeners, obviously, at the point. So it doesn't matter that I'm advertising them. So these guys are saying, okay, our insurance will inform you when your car is not being driven by you, maybe stolen by your son or whatever. You call the police, you call whoever, the car gets stopped, and whatever, like insurance things, right? And what I've seen from this, it's very funny. What I've seen is, right, this insurance, okay, you might say, I think it's also justified, this in this ad, right? Like, I'm not sure if it's a good idea. Okay, I won't play this ad loud. Let's see. Discovery Insurance. There's this ad, man. Okay, it won't show up here. I don't think it should show up here because it's an ad. Oh, let me stop the video. I'm back, right? So I don't think the ad is bad, right? It's good ad, advertising whatever they offer with their insurance and whatever. But what is my, I don't even think it's a problem, but just an observation, right? What happens is now, with this thing of diversity, right? Even in simple ads, the number of cultures of people, we have to include them, man. All right? It's like, hire me. I'm a good cinematographer. I make good videos. No, don't hire me for that. Hire me because I'm black. No, man, I'm not sure that works, right? You should hire me because I'm competent in my job, right? And not hire me because I'm black. This thing of having diversity to the point that you see, diversity to the point that you notice it, right? I'm not sure if it's diversity. We should not notice the thing. Yeah, I don't get it. Obviously, we sort of correcting the errors of the past and whatever, but man, including there's this Indian guy, he calls his son, he calls Discovery Insurance, and the guy in the call center is a black guy, and then there are these police officers, 2 black guys, and then there's this lady who's the girlfriend. I think it's a white lady, not sure. I'm like, man, that's a lot of people being involved in the same thing, right? Why couldn't it be just all Indians or all white? No, not even like all Indians and all white. They shouldn't even be the criteria. Should be just that the actors are available and these people are competent to do the job, right? Don't hire me because I'm black. Hire me because I'm good at what I do. That's how things should be, man. Damn, I love looking at this. Like, I looked at the ad and then continued to just look at it for the second time because, man, it was funny seeing them including a lot of people like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, at some point, I think we'll overcorrect for the injustices of the past. Obviously, in South Africa, man, it's clearly visible, right? It's clearly visible how the blacks have been affected by the recent injustices, because it hasn't been that far, right? It's been 25 years. Before those 25 years, things were extremely different, right? So in 25 years, you can't just redistribute the economy that easily, right? There are big guys who've been around for a while and whatever. Yeah, I think I'll have to develop that into a good beat. Obviously, there is that also, the I'm better than you in some way defense mechanism thing. Also, that I'll develop into a beat, and then maybe we'll see the next time there's this podcast. Maybe I'll have a good joke about it. Then, what else I want to talk about? I think I'm done. This. Okay, this was a nice episode, right? So I'm not complaining about the light. It's not so harsh on my face. Everything just went smoothly. Damn. I wish there are more podcasts like this one. Yeah, where I don't complain about things. Okay. It's been so much things here. I'll talk to you in the next episode. It's been fun having you around. Peace. You can go now. Now you can go. Go now. Now you can go. I'm also interested in making music, man. I think the only reason I shouldn't make music is because I don't want to make music. Not that I can't make music, like beats and whatever. I want to make those stuff. I have the apps and I've been learning to do the thing. Things I'm learning greatly as well. It's a lot of things. Damn. Okay, see you in the next video. Or talk to you in the next podcast. This has been so much things. See you around. Peace.